Hey there, Chad here. Thanks for joining me. This is Starsector, and this is just a simple playthrough to learn some things about the game. We finished the tutorial in the previous episode, and now we're just kind of doing a little bit of exploration on our own. We did get to see in the previous episode one of the story hooks, and we kind of moved past that, but we did go and find somebody that had a mission for us to do, and we're going to carry that out today. Right now, though, we're still on the planet of Jangala. And we haven't done we did talk to the commander here. That's one of the things we wanted to do. I want to see if we can hire an officer for one of our ships, and that would be Akna Europa. And let's see. So after a short wait, your connection request is accepted. Heard you might be looking to take on some help. Depends. What can you do? They are ballistic mastery. That's good. In combat, this officer will attempt to avoid direct engagements if at all possible, even if commanding a combat vessel. Okay. Oh, that's their personality. I'm sorry. Ballistic mastery is 10% damage dealt by ballistic weapons and 10% to range. Okay. So that's all good. But their personality is they're timid. They're level 1. Well, I think we're going to offer to hire her. We frankly need some captains, and if we eventually have to boot somebody, well, that's fine too. But for now, they want $2,000 hiring bonus and then 900 credits per month. That is very affordable. We're going to say sounds good. We now have a captain that we can assign to a ship. We'll do that here in a second. Looking through everything else, we can repair ships at a dockyard. And it cost us 4 supplies. That's not bad at all. So now we're up to speed. Now we're going to go and look at goods and stuff. And you will notice we have a new entry here now. Because we have standing with the hegemony, we can access military goodies from them. You'll notice that the prices aren't very different, if at all. But it's additional stuff. If we were to buy all of these, we could also buy some off the open market, and that would be fine. The other thing is we can look through here, and there are we can hire crew from the military. I'm guessing the prices are all going to be the same as the open market. Yeah. But the big one there, we can hire Marines. Marines are necessary for some of the missions that you might take. And if you have any like planet-side battles, that becomes important. And we'll probably talk about those in the future. I think now is a little premature, not quite ready for that. The other thing I want to point out is these are the goods that we are transferring for that guy. These are where we're taken to Sudane. I'm not sure how we want to say it. But ultimately, these are those. We don't want to sell those because then we've crashed the mission, and that's not a good thing. So we don't want to do that. We do have a few things here we can sell, like these metals. I'm going to hang on to this in case we want to change out our carriers at all. This is basically a squadron that can be used. These are interceptors. I am going to go ahead and let go of the weapons. When the weapons aren't very expensive, $500, 500 credits is not very expensive. Generally, they're everywhere. You can find them anywhere you want. You start getting expensive stuff, then you start to think about it a little more. The other thing I want to do is we're selling some stuff. I want to go ahead and buy some supplies. I think we're going to go ahead and buy 100 more supplies. And that's a chunk of change for us. I mean, we're spending 10,000 credits out of our 35,000, but supplies are extremely important, as you might think. I think that'll do it for now. We bought that from the military. We want to confirm that, and we can go look at the open market. This is where we might want to buy trade goods if we know that there's something at a particularly good price. Not seeing anything like that. Organics. Well, it turns out there are organics that can be bought cheap. And we're going somewhere that organics apparently are important. So I think we'll go ahead and let's fill up on organics. Oh, food also. Well, food is always pretty good. And I think you generally sell it for at least 13 credits per unit. So maybe we do that one. And I think, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. If you control click it'll fill your hull. So we're completely full now. It'll be 253 of those units, and we're going to confirm that. One other thing, we could have visited the black market, and we probably could have bought these maybe a little cheaper sometimes. Maybe not. Doesn't look like it, but they'll have other goods available. The thing is as you buy stuff from the black market, you gain suspicion, and then the different factions don't like that, and they start to ask questions. And we're going to avoid that for now. We're very new in the game. Finally, we're going to go to, is it refit where we had captains? I think it is. Yes, we can assign a captain here. Now, the captain that we hired, it said they were good at ballistics. Well, our cruiser, its outlay of weapons is lasers, cannons, launchers. I'm assuming ballistics are going to be things like missiles or railguns. I can't remember if this game has railguns. I'm kind of spacing a little bit in some of my memory of how that works. They're machine guns. Well, a machine gun would certainly be ballistic weapons. So we want to put that captain on a ship that has good ballistics because that's where their bonus is going to lie. Carrier would not be that ship. Their piece of me is saying let's go with the cruiser, although it's got a couple of missiles, but we're going to go with the hammerhead. I want to put them on the hammerhead. There we go. That's an easier way to look at it, I guess. Torpedoes, lasers, maybe not. Maybe not the hammerhead. How about the buffalo? What's the buffalo got? Light machine guns. Yeah, let's go with the buffalo. So to add the new captain, we literally click here. Oh, we have two that we can pick from. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. One has ordnance experience as well. And that just is an increase in flux capacity. We're going to assign Akna to this ship. And I forgot that we did pick somebody else up earlier. And then we will assign them to, I don't know, we'll go with the hammerhead for the second captain. That is Reese. There we have it. Now, sometimes what I will do is I will assign my best officer to my cruiser because it's the strongest of my ships. And in fact, we could do that just by clicking here. We've now swapped. And if we come out here and look at the fleet, we should see, yeah, the star is here. This is now our flagship. And in order to reference that, I usually go ahead and move it over here. That moves everybody down one spot here. And that way I know that this is my ship. I will often have Reese run the battles though, because again, I'm not very good at the battles. Don't really enjoy that part of the game myself. And we have 3 story points, but no skill points to spend. One other thing that we saw there when we were looking at these captains is we can spend story points on them to mentor them, and that gives them a bonus mentor and officer, increasing their experience gain and giving them a wider range of skills to choose from, as well as optionally influencing their personality. Can only be done with an officer below maximum level. Requires a story point and grants 100% bonus in experience. We're going to hold on to the story point for now, but that is an option we have. Also, currently we can have up to 8 officers. Well, I think we should get this going. We're going to need to get those goods delivered. And we've pretty much done all of the stuff. We didn't visit the shrine. We'll do that in the future. We're not going to do that today. So let's get out of here. And we're going to go to the map and to the sector. And we know we're going to Westerness. There it is. We'll click there. And we are going here to Sudane. Right-clicking that lays in a course. We'll get out of here and we start heading to the nearest gate. We will just autopilot there for the most part. We do want to pay attention. We can run into hostile fleets or pirates, things like that. We want to avoid that as much as possible, but there we go. And this time we probably will see some of those storms that we were talking about. I do tend to turn off my transponder out here. It makes the pirates a little less interested in you, and I'm going to avoid that storm. There's one of those storms. The brighter, the stronger is effectively what it is. So we don't mind passing through some of these clouds that are kind of not doing a lot of flashy flash. We generally want to avoid them. And then I'm just literally steering by clicking. And to re-establish the autopilot, I hit A. But I do want to miss those storms. So I'm trying to turn. Since we're in sustained burn, we have a lot of limitation on our maneuverability. So threading that needle. Yep, your fleet has been hit by a hyperspace storm. One of your ships has taken damage, and its combat readiness has been reduced. That's what hitting the storms does. That's the worst part. The other thing is it'll like shoot you off. Like notice we're going really fast now, and it can really knock you off course. The problem being that there are like streams, almost like jet stream kind of stuff that you can run into, and that can become really problematic because if you hit those, they are hard to get out of, and you end up tons and tons of distance away from where you start, like having to use days and days and days of fuel to get back to where you were. So, well, there we go. We're already at the jump point. We made it through that really well, and we are going to order a jump. And the good news is we have our transponder turned off. It reminds us of that. Turn the transponder on and then jump. And that's what I want to do. I don't want to piss anybody off. There we go. We are in their space. There's a bounty hunter, but they're neutral to us, so we're okay. And we're moving towards this other screen. Other planet. There we go. Persian planet. And, oh, why did it stop? Oh, because I didn't click on the actual planet. I clicked near it. So there we go. Boom. Your fleet approaches Sudane. I have no idea how to say it. Sudane, maybe. We'll go with Sudane. That's a little easier. The terraforming of Sudane and attendant trains of water-bearing comets were rapidly abandoned post-collapse as the remaining authorities focused resources on pure survival. Okay, you're welcome to read through that. But we have now delivered, just by clicking that, we delivered the organics that the broker needed us to deliver, and we've been paid. And our relationship is improved with independence by 4. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. The independence, you're kind of an independent until you declare for one of the other factions. So it doesn't hurt to be good with the independence, and we're going to continue. And now we're just at a planet. We're at a spaceport or whatever it is. It has the ability to go and talk to the portmaster, the quartermaster, administrator. The reason there's multiple folks is they can have different jobs. If you look at them, like this guy, I want to be commissioned. Okay, I'd like to turn in these AI cores that I've acquired. Well, we haven't acquired any. We did acquire one, but that was part of the tutorial mission, and there you have it. We can go down to the dockside bar here. What I want to do is we want to see if they are interested in buying food. And look at that. We bought that food at 11 cents, and we're going to sell it at 17. So small profit, not a huge one. Unfortunately, will that cover? Yeah, I guess that does cover the tax, right? Because we're going to pay 30% tariff on that. If we wanted to avoid that tariff, we could go to the black market and sell it. No tariff. We'll go ahead and do that. Selling food to the black market feels like a safe option. There are things that are kind of illegal to have. You do want to pay attention to that. But back over here, I guess we're kind of full up here. And supplies are reasonable, so we're going to go ahead and grab a few of those again. We're going to be paying a lot, but we did grab some money there, didn't we? So that looks good. From a crew perspective, we could hire a lot more crew. I think we're going to go ahead and hire maybe 50 more. And that'll eat into our supply some, but we're good there. Confirm all of that. Let's go to fleet. We should be good here. Go to refit, make sure nobody is missing anything. Nope, we look good there. Looking good all the way around. Okay, one other thing then. Let's go back there. How do you buy a ship? Well, that is the wrong screen, first of all. You go to fleet and you have buy up here. So yeah, you got to be on the right screen. Otherwise you won't see it. But we could sell any of these ships just by clicking the $ here. Get us 588 credits for that one. And then we can buy another ship. And you may want to look and see what the various ships do. This is a custom troop transport. Its design type is midline. Those are all kind of important things. The really important parts are the stats down there, though. You want to see how many people it can carry. Maximum crew is 250. What else do we have? The crew complement is 10. There's also a skeleton crew required of 10. You see the hull integrity, and you can also see if there's damage to it, things like that. And I don't see, very, very last line, hull mods, degraded drive field. So this one has some damage on it, but all things considered, that's not too bad. We saw some of those ships we were looking at had 4 or 5 different things wrong with them. So this one's in pretty good shape. That might be something to consider. What's the cost on it? That I didn't look at. Oh, it's at the top. Dum-dum. 25,000. Yeah, that's not horrible. So that's a troop transport. There's a tanker, a civilian troop transport, or, well, a civilian transport. Doesn't hold quite as many people. Well, actually it does, 400. Crew complement is 15. Skeleton is 15. Maximum crew would include, I believe, passengers. I'm trying to remember how that works out. But if you look at the sensor profile, that's the important thing. Whoops. I wanted to make note of. Let's go back there real quick. Fleet, buy. Okay, if you look at the sensor profile, middle of the screen, closer to the bottom, 120 plus 60. This guy over here, he's military, he's 90. The ship is built so that its sensor profile number here won't be as big of a big of a deal. And that's important when you're trying to be stealthy or avoid things. So something to keep in mind. We have salvage rigs here, gunships. Gunships are not too bad in a tight fight. Not seeing anything I must have right now, particularly with where our cash sits. And you can also buy ships from the black market. Here is a fast carrier, for instance. And if we look at it, it has its own whole set of stats to explore and decide what works best for you. The interesting on this one is it doesn't appear there's any damage. It's got a targeting feed, which gives data to its fighter wings. Interesting. Okay. Maybe just Manticore destroyer, so you got all sorts of stuff here. Obviously, we can't afford a lot of this stuff, but we have options. There you have it. We'll take a quick look down at the dockside. And there are 2 folks, a grizzled spacer sitting at a bar, downing shots of what looks like the cheapest liquor available, and a woman motioning to a news feed, haranguing an officer in local Navy patrol uniform about the increased pirate raids. You will see that there are a limited number of mission types, and these descriptions of who's giving it to you, they don't differ all that much. So you often know, like the woman motioning the news feed, we know that she wants somebody to go and take care of pirates in her home system, is what that would be. We can go ahead and talk to her and catch her attention. You nod and put on an appearance of shared concern. Okay, she's saying, disappointed by the lack of decisive action. It makes me think these patrols are more interested in tariff enforcement than fighting pirates. And if we continue the conversation, she'll tell us what she's offering. She's from the Beta Macultus system, which is out here not in the core. We don't have enough fuel to get there, is what this is showing us. Can turn that off, but that's our fuel range right now. And yeah, so that's quite a distance for us, considering where we started. What's this? I'm not quite sure what the return arrow there is. Oh, maybe it's another. I'll have to check on that. I'm not entirely sure what that's about, but nonetheless, you can see where that would take us. For now, we're going to decline. We don't have the fuel to get there to begin with. We got other things we probably need to do locally for a while. Okay. We can consider our military options as usual. You can launch a raid against the planet. Not a good idea. We don't have any Marines. We don't have ships that can really do much about it. So probably best not to do that just yet. And there you have it. We could go and look around this system, see if there's anything fun or exciting to deal with. Looks like there could be, that's not a debris field. There could be some things out here somewhere that would be worth exploring. One thing you do want to look for are planets that are not fully surveyed. And that can be fun because you get paid to survey them. You survey them, you get data, and then you take that data and sell it on the market. And yeah, it can be very lucrative depending on the type of system you find. Also, eventually you're going to want to build your own colony, and knowing what's out there can be helpful there as well. Real quick, it wouldn't be a bad idea for us to maybe head in this direction, start seeing what's out this way. That system is completely unexplored, so that might be a fun one to go look at. System unexplored. We got a couple of options here pretty close by, things we can go and start to learn more about. These are explored, and you can see we could also look for trade routes between worlds. Not the worst idea, but I think I want to do some exploration next. One last thing I wanted to see was trade goods. Was there anything that is in excess? Crew members. Okay, well, nothing is jumping out as excess stockpiles of domestic goods, 22 each. So we can buy these at a lower price. We could try to take them somewhere where they're not in excess. And that's not a bad idea. Why don't we go ahead and buy, we don't have to go crazy this time. We're not going to make a ton of money on it. We'll buy 200 of them. And we're buying them. So after taxes, well, okay. You know what would be easier? What is the cost per each? If, that's not what I meant to do either. What I'm trying to do, there we go. Okay, so one. If I buy one, $29 each is what they come to after taxes. So 22, we're adding 7 cents per each. So we'd probably want to write that down, or at least keep note of it somewhere, that these were, we'll call it 30 to sell them. We have to sell them at a profit above 30% if we're not selling it on the black market in order to make a profit. And the game doesn't track that for you very well. It's not something that you can really see in real time that, oh yeah, we would be losing money if we sold here. So you want to make sure you keep track of that. I'm probably going to forget where I wrote it down, but I'll go ahead and do it just to be safe. And hopefully we will, what is this? Domestic goods? Domestic goods. Hopefully we'll find somewhere to sell it for more than, I guess it would be 39 cents is what we'd have to sell it, or 39 credits each. That could be difficult to do. That tax rate is a killer. That's something you really need to pay attention to. I think that's probably why the black market is there, to make that a little more interesting. And yeah, we'll see if we can find a planet to sell that on in the near future. This is Starsector, and I do want to thank you for joining me. We are past the tutorial at this point and just kind of doing some exploration. We'll see what else is out there. And I do want to thank you for joining me on this journey. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I really would appreciate it. Beyond that, thanks for your time, and until next, fair travels.